The real insurrectionists. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Well, after another night of unrest and all-out mayhem in downtown L.A., Governor Gavin Newsom is finally taking action. He's finally putting his foot down. He's had enough. But you'd think he was, warning the rioters to stand down. Don't go into the freeway. Don't block it up. You'd be wrong, because Newsom's warning the president to stand down. Yeah, the destruction of his city notwithstanding, the governor filed for an emergency injunction in federal court to block the Pentagon from ordering federal and state troops to suppress the uprising in L.A. Of course, he doesn't think it's an uprising. California's court petition was filed oddly in San Francisco and claimed that Trump is the real problem. Federal antagonization through the presence of soldiers in the streets has already caused real and irreparable damage to the city of Los Angeles, the people who live there, and the state of California. Irreparable damage caused by the presence of the Marines and the National Guard? Oh. Did their presence compel last night's looting of local businesses or the blockade of the 101 today? Do they really think Americans are that stupid that they're going to believe that the National Guard is causing such pain that they forced thugs and mob-like figures on the streets to throw pieces of concrete and start fires? Trying to brush off the blame that they obviously deserve for their sanctuary policies, Newsom and L.A. Mayor Karen Bass claim to have a simple solution. Just stop enforcing immigration law.
The real solution of all of this is for the administration to stop the raids. We have heard that these raids might take place for the next 30 days. We don't know how many are going to take place in a given day. And you just think about the disruption to families and the disruption to our local economy.
Oh, yeah, right. It's wonderful for the local economy to have thousands of people swarm a federal ICE operation, wildly smash car windows, whip rocks at passing vehicles, spray paint profanity everywhere, and, yeah, wreck mom and pop stores.
Hey, we don't do that. No, we don't do that, bro. We don't do that. Hey, no, we don't do that. Hey, get the out.
And by the way, they lost in federal court today. Federal Judge Breyer said, no, we're not intervening, not giving an emergency injunction, an emergency stay to make Gavin Newsom feel better. So they lost in court. But the sad fact is Newsom, Bass, and most Democrats, they're never really going to condemn these rioters, not really, because the rioters are their constituents. The anarchists are their constituents. The socialists are their constituents. The open borders Marxists are their constituents. And yes, the criminal illegals, they're their constituents. They hope they'll vote someday soon. And the same dynamic was in place in 2020. Black Lives Matter was just a Democrat front group. And we found out after, 90 million in donations poured in, it was as corrupt as the day is long. Speaking at Fort Bragg today, Trump was unfazed by the Newsom resistance and vowed to never let the thugs destroy federal property.
Generations of Army heroes did not shed their blood on distant shores only to watch our country be destroyed by invasion and third world lawlessness here at home, like is happening in California. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not let that happen. It's never going to happen.
Listen to that response. Yeah, that's America.
They're the heroes. They're fighting for us. They're stopping an invasion just like you'd stop an invasion. The big difference is most of the time when you stop an invasion, they're wearing a uniform. In many ways, it's tougher when they're not wearing a uniform because you don't know exactly who they are.
And now Democrats are pretending to be outraged about the prospect of Trump invoking the Insurrection Act, which, of course, is his right. I'd say it's his obligation to do if, and it's his call, if he feels the United States is being threatened from within by violent seditionary forces.
We had some bad people. We have people, they look in your face and they spit right in your face. They're animals. And these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They're agitators.
Of course, Democrats dined out on the word insurrection for 4 years, referring to another riot on January 6th, They demanded National Guard troops to protect them. And when they're challenged on their hypocrisy, man, they go nuts.
You don't have the National Guard that didn't come in on time on January 6th, or you do have the National Guard where there was violence. We did see it on our TV screens. What do you want?
So, wait a second. So on January 6th, I was here. There was 50,000 people outside. They were scaling the wall. The police were run over. How many police officers have died in L.A.? 0. How many people died on January 6th? 5. When people say that Democrats are being not consistent, is completely wrong.
First of all, he lied. The only person killed on January 6th was an unarmed woman named Ashley Babbitt. She was shot dead by a Capitol Hill police officer, Michael Byrd. Now, as we mentioned, there was one scene in particular that grabbed our attention last night and sure made the so-called protests look professionally supported. These kind of high-grade, riot gear type face shields were distributed by a mystery person. Fox 11 witnessed these individuals handing out tactical gear to the protesters. No arrests, though, were made, despite ongoing acts of vandalism and street interference. So why is this criminality continuing? Because, as I said before, at least as of now, there doesn't seem to be any accountability.
Demonstrators are throwing rocks and bottles right now at police as police are now pushing the line forward, trying to get people to disperse.
We've heard so much from people about the idea of law enforcement taking people into custody who may be in the country illegally. Are we seeing any indication of law enforcement taking these folks into custody who are clearly committing crimes right live on TV that everybody can see?
Police are firing back with their rubber bullets. But it's really not stopping it.
But Democrats, again, they don't care. They don't care about those scenes. They don't care about destruction. They don't care about the storefronts being just, looted. They don't care. They're playing politics, and they're covering for their constituents.
Donald Trump wants conflict and violence. House Democrats stand on the side of peaceful protests and condemn the violence that Donald Trump is rooting for.
It's absurd. It's so desperate. Now, Democrats, in watching this play out, they may not recover from this for a decade. I know that sounds like wishful thinking. I don't want anything to happen to any of our great cities. But they are playing with fire here. They need to rip out the vile anti-American element from their party and start over. Because the protesters, I hate even calling them protesters. They're not really protesters. These are criminals. They're dressed in all black. They're marauding through the streets, taunting law enforcement. They've been programmed to believe that this country is illegitimate.
This is our city, and this was Mexico. You can't kick us out of the land that was ours.
Indigenous land. This was Mexico. This is our turf. These motherfuckers. Free them all!
This is what they believe, that we're living on stolen land. And for that reason, immigration laws should really not even apply to this part of the country at all. So the message they're sending America is clear. They don't recognize this government as legitimate, and they certainly don't recognize Trump as a legitimate president. So these riots have zero to do with immigration or deportations. The illegals are pawns. The bottom line, these thugs, if they don't get the government they want, the policies they want, they'll burn it all down. Yet what they apparently don't realize is that the longer this continues, downtowns and storefronts won't be the only thing left in ruins. The Democrat Party will be a smoldering ash heap as well. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.